Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have another amazing Artic Figures model to take a look at here. This time we've got a brand new species to the line, a Gallimimus, and boy am I excited about this one because we have very few good Jurassic Park style Gallimimus figures out there, very few, and we really don't have anything I think that can compete with this as far as the sculpt and everything. And on top of that, you get the awesome box art here, again just screaming Jurassic Park nostalgia, and the insanely incredible card here, the collectible card that they include, which as you can see is a limited edition, which I would imagine probably all of these figures are limited. I don't think he'll continue to make them too far into the future as he starts to progress to other films and everything, but you could see again some incredible artwork right there of the Gallimimus as far as the head goes. And then actually if we go to the underside, we flip it around, you can again see some more incredible artwork of the Gallimimus. Again, he has all of this artwork commissioned, and the artist that is creating this is doing one phenomenal job. Like, incredible work as far as that goes. You can also see again the Artic Figures Instagram as well as the Artic Figures email address, and then if we turn it around, you can again see the Artic Figures logo right there, kind of in front of the Jurassic Park type logo, and you can also see Hyper Articulation Gallimimus with base and stand, as well as that gorgeous sunset there with the palm trees and everything. Again, just screaming Jurassic Park more so than anything else possibly could. And then if we turn it around, on the back here, you can again see Artic Figures Hyper Articulation Gallimimus with base and stand. You also have some information on the figure itself as well as the contents of the box. You've got the insanely beautiful artwork up there of the Gallimimus, and then down here, kind of like a checklist of the different figures that are already released and will be releasing from Artic Figures, which we already have the Velociraptor out. We have reviewed that. We now have the Gallimimus. I'm not sure exactly which one is next, but we do have the Dilophosaurus as well as the T-Rex. We have seen the T-Rex sculpt that is finished. The Dilophosaurus is in the process of being sculpted, and you can also see down here we have Brachiosaurus, Triceratops, and Parasaurolophus, and then that would complete the line for the Jurassic Park Artic Figures line, and then I would imagine he's going to move to the Lost World Jurassic Park after that, which I cannot wait for. But this looks amazing. I am beyond excited about this Gallimimus, so I really need to get this out of the box right away, so let's do that right now. So here is the card that comes with the Gallimimus. You can see the collectible card looks amazing. We've got the Artic Figures logo right there. Also, again, it states Gallimimus figure. And you can see that the artwork itself portrays the scene where Lex and Tim are kind of running through the field there. Of course, Alan would be there as well. But you can see Lex and Tim kind of running here with the Gallimimus kind of flocking their way. And that is just honestly incredible. Like, talk about recreating those awesome Jurassic Park moments in that perfect Kenner style as far as the cards go. And then here on the back, you also again have information on the Gallimimus as well as all sorts of other stuff here, including dino trivia for the Gallimimus. And I also love the fact that he includes these in kind of like a nice, sort of like a case, like a plastic outer shell where you can keep the card nice and safe without damaging it, which is very easy to do when it comes to collectible cards like that. And then we've got ourselves the base, and the base is also super nice. I love that he continues to include the Artic Figures logo on there. I think that's kind of a really cool idea because it obviously shows you straight away who the creator of the model is. But also, again, just a beautiful looking base. I really like what he's done with the base as well, just like with the Velociraptor base. It's very high quality, very nicely sculpted out. And here we can kind of see that it portrays like a grassy field, sort of, that the Gallimimus would be running through. And of course, you've got your stand here that you would put here into the hole with that peg to help your Gallimimus to stand. And then, of course, the star of the show is the Gallimimus itself, and boy, is that ever beautiful. Like, talk about creating a picture-perfect Jurassic Park-style Gallimimus. Now, this is an unpainted figure, so if you grab this one, you purchase this version that I have here, I don't know if he's actually going to be painting any at all, to be honest. I think he might be focusing on unpainted figures for now, but if you purchase the figure, it will show up just like this. Again, completely unpainted, and it would be then up to you to paint it, which I'm going to do here in a moment. I will get this painted up so we can see what it looks like with, you know, color on it, looking I guess as close as I can get it to what the Jurassic Park Gallimimus looks like. But again, just briefly looking over the sculpt, it is just beautiful looking. He has just captured pretty much every ounce of detail and visually looks exactly like the Jurassic Park Gallimimus, if you ask me. So I'm going to take our Gallimimus buddy right now. We're going to go paint him up, and then we'll be right back to take a closer look at this. So we are back. We've got our base and our Gallimimus painted. You can see that I kind of painted it up again to resemble a little earthy area, as well as the grass and stuff that, of course, our Gallimimus would be running through. And then we've got the Gallimimus itself, and it's actually harder than you would think to find good material to show you exactly how the Gallimimus is colored in Jurassic Park. And I never realized how complicated it would be until I actually had gone ahead and tried to paint this particular version, because for some reason it was just a tough dinosaur to find as far as what it looked like. And I had even gone back to watch kind of Jurassic Park, that scene with the Gallimimus, to sort of go over it and try to establish exactly what the colors were. So basically what we have here is my best guess as far as what the coloration looks like on the Gallimimus, and I feel like it turned out pretty nice and hopefully as close to screen accurate as it gets, because there's like a lot of contradicting images. Like I went ahead and searched up like concept art and everything, and like there were just so many differences between different images as well as the, footage from Jurassic Park, that this is what I settled on. But now that I have painted it, you can see that it just brings so much life to the Gallimimus, and it is unquestionably one of the most beautiful Jurassic Park Gallimimus figures that I've ever seen. He really, really nailed the sculpt of this one. I feel like everything is just so perfect on it, like the neck length, the tail length, the head appearance, the body appearance, everything just looks so good on this Gallimimus. And of course, it's loaded with articulation, so that always makes it even better if you ask me. But definitely a really, really cool looking figure here from Artic Figures. So let's go ahead and jump straight to a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the Gallimimus, look at how beautiful that is. Like, that perfectly represents that Jurassic Park style of a Gallimimus. He really, really nailed it as far as the overall appearance goes, but also as far as the texturing and detailing. You can see some nice looking skin texture there in the face. You've got the nostrils sculpted out. The eye socket as well looks really good. Of course, you have an articulated jaw, as you have tons of articulation on your figure. You can see that the tongue is sculpted out on the inside of the mouth. You've also got teeth, which might be a little hard to pick up on, but there you go. You can now see that there are teeth on the inside of the mouth of the Gallimimus, and of course that jaw articulates really, really smoothly, works with complete perfection, also closes very nicely. You've also got some nice looking skin texture here on the top of the head of the Gallimimus, and then as you lead down the course of the neck of the figure, you've got quite a lot of different joints to articulate the neck as you move down the course of the figure, as well as some beautiful detailing here throughout. You can really see the throat here on the underside of the Gallimimus, as well as some really nice looking skin texture moving down through the course of the entire neck. And you can again see that the neck movement is incredibly smooth, like it allows so much beautiful poseability for the Gallimimus. And then as you move down a little bit further, you start to reach down here into the body. You can see again some more gorgeous looking skin detail. You've also got the rib cage there showing in the stomach region. You can definitely pick up on the spinal column here running along the back of the Gallimimus. As you move down here, you can also sort of make out the shoulder blade. Nice muscle definition as you move down the course of the arm here. And also, again, some fantastic skin detail, skin texture. Really nicely sculpted out hands. You can see the hands have some nice scoots down the fingers, which looks really, really good. Just in general, beautiful detailing. The nails look really good. They're also kind of like sharp looking, which is a huge, huge plus. As you move down the back, you can again see more incredible looking skin texture. The hip bone as well is elaborated right there. Moving down into the thigh, you've got some nice muscle definition yet again here for our Gallimimus. And it's really easy and really fun to paint this figure because the detail is just so nice. It practically paints itself just like the Velociraptor. You've got the kneecap there in the front of the leg. As you move down, you can definitely make out the calf muscle as well. He definitely is a master, I would say, at sculpting out the fine details of his figures. You can really see again just how much muscle definition he has displayed in the calf region here of this figure. And then as you move down, you've of course got that really nice, very bird-like foot sculpt here to our Gallimimus. And again, more articulation down here, but you've got the nicely sculpted out toes, very nicely sculpted out nails as well. And the nails, yet again, look genuinely sharp, which is always a great thing when it comes to figures like this. You don't have those kind of watered down, sort of curved looking nails and teeth and stuff like you see on Mattel figures on stuff like this. But as you start to move out here into the tail, you can continue to see more really nice looking skin texture, kind of like some skin wrinkles and stuff here and there, some nice creasing and everything as you move out the length of the tail. And the tail isn't all that long because it's a Gallimimus, it doesn't have a super long tail. But it looks absolutely beautiful as far as his sculpt goes, and you can see there are quite a few different joints here to articulate the tail as you move out the length of the tail. Again, just so much poseability with the Gallimimus, no matter where you look at the figure. And you can also see the underside, again, sports some beautiful, beautiful looking detail. As you move through the underside of the stomach, you can see really fine skin texture and everything down there. Moving through the course of the underside of the tail and everything, it looks fantastic everywhere. But, of course, this side is going to look pretty much the same. The normal thing for us to do would be to look at the opposing side of the figure to see if the paintwork is precise like we saw on the initial side. But since this one comes unpainted and it was painted entirely by me, we don't really need to do that because it's my paintwork. But, I mean, if you really want to see it, you can, but it's not the paintwork that you would receive if you acquired one of the painted versions from Artic Figures. But like I had said earlier, I don't know how much more he's going to be focusing on painted versions. I know he has the intentions of doing it a little bit, but I think a lot of the stuff he's going to be selling will be unpainted figures for right now until he gets a little more free time. But again, this shows off how nice the Gallimimus that you purchase could look if you grab one from Artic Figures. And I feel like, again, it was an absolute blast painting mine up, and I am beyond actually happy with the final results. And that's not something that happens often when it comes to stuff that I paint. I often am kind of like really picky with the stuff that I paint, but this turned out really nice, I felt like. And of course, that a lot has to do with the fact that the sculpt is so good here by Artic Figures. But definitely an awesome looking Gallimimus. We can also take a nice closer look here at the base, and you can see once the base is painted, it really comes to life. Yet again, I painted the Artic Figures logo out a little different this time than I did with the Raptor, but I kind of gave it that glossy look again to help it stand out. But the grass and everything here of this is really nicely sculpted out to the point where you can add different shades of greens and stuff to it to really bring it to life and add a lot of, depth to your earthy area for your Gallimimus. And I was actually really happy with the way that my base turned out as well, which also isn't something that normally happens. And then, of course, to apply your Gallimimus to the base, all you basically would do is stand it there. You've got a little stand that you can put here in the chest or the stomach. It's really up to you where you want to display it, but you can kind of position it in any way that you would really like, whereas this time it's kind of leaning down a little bit. Maybe it's taking a bite to eat or something like that. So it really, again, is up to you how exactly you display it. But as far as the articulation of the Gallimimus goes, again, we saw that we have the articulation here in the jaw. You also have a mountain of articulation in the neck, as you've got a spot right here at the back of the head, another spot here, 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 and here, as well as right here at the base of the neck. So again, that allows some super, super smooth articulation for your Gallimimus. Pretty much any pose and every pose that you would like is possible with the Gallimimus, and that incredible articulation in the neck. You also have articulation in the arms, right here in the shoulder, right in the elbow, actually two different spots there in the elbow, as well as the wrist. So you can again get lots of really nice, very smooth articulation and movability, poseability with your Gallimimus. In the arm area, you've also got the midsection articulation, which can go pretty much all over the place, up, down, left, right, all over. You've then got hip articulation right here, as well as two spots in the knee, above and below the knee, which adds some nice mobility in that area. And then you've got a spot here and a spot here as far as the ankle articulation. And you can see we can move all of those areas very, very nicely, create some beautiful poses as far as our Gallimimus running. And then as you move out, if my camera would stay focused, you hit the tail. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas as you move out the length of the tail to, again, articulate the tail pretty much however you would like and create all sorts of different display options for your Gallimimus. So Just tons of articulation as always with these Artic Figures releases. And something else that is pretty cool about the Gallimimus is, as you can see, it can stand freely, it can stand independently of the base. Of course, the base is definitely your best option as far as displaying it so that it doesn't fall over, because I'm sure it's not the most balanced out thing in the world, but it's pretty impressive to see a figure like this stand. And it's definitely a huge plus for this figure that this can stand, because it's not often that you see stuff like this when it comes to like articulated bipedal figures. Normally when you have all those articulated joints and stuff, they don't stay too stable, they tend to kind of buckle and fold, and this one can stand again freely of its base, which is quite awesome. As far as a size goes for our Gallimimus, though, you were looking at a little over 9 inches or around 23 centimeters, and then for a height, right there actually at about 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Artic Figures Gallimimus, and you can definitely see that it does sport a pretty good size. It's actually fairly similar. Well, not really similar, but it's close to as tall as Mr. Papo Rex. It definitely could be if I, positioned it a little more upright, but even in the position that it's in there, it's definitely approaching the height of Mr. Papo Rex, so certainly does have a pretty good size. And then when it comes to a comparison with the Hammond Collection Gallimimus, here we are, and you can definitely see that, again, they are fairly similar in size, not too far off. Of course, our Artic Figures version looks a little bit taller, and it is a little taller, but it's also up on the base, which makes it a little taller just, again, in general. And the legs of the Hammond Collection version are kind of crouched, which of course would help to improve its height, but you can definitely see that they look pretty cool together. Of course, though, the Artic Figures version is way more screen accurate. And then when it comes to your standard kind of Mattel Gallimimus figure here, you can definitely see again that the Artic Figures version is quite larger than the version that we have here, the Mattel version. So obviously the Hammond Collection version is a little bit larger than your more mainline Gallimimus, but this is a figure that I feel like most people probably have, or at least, one of the many Gallimimus that Mattel had released, so you'll hopefully have a pretty good idea of the size of this Artic Figures version. And something that I didn't point out in the review of the Velociraptor, which you can see right now, the Velociraptor 2 can stand on its own and doesn't necessarily need the stand to hold it up, but here is the Artic Figures 1/18 scale Velociraptor next to the 1/18 scale Gallimimus. Again, showing you that Artic Figures really is releasing some of the best Jurassic Park style products that we've ever seen, and it's really exciting to know that it's not far off into the future that he will have officially completed the Jurassic Park line, and we will have one of each of the different dinosaurs from that film in our collections if you have been collecting them as we go. It's definitely going to be one incredibly cool collection when it's complete. So this brand new Artic Figures 1/18 scale Jurassic Park style Gallimimus is absolutely gorgeous. Definitely one of the most beautiful Gallimimus figures that I've ever seen, and definitely one of the most screen accurate Gallimimus figures I've ever seen. This type of figure, as a collector, is the type of figure that we dream about. If you are a fan of articulated figures, that is. Not everybody is, actually, which some people like more like stagnant models or things like that because they don't like the joints of the articulated figures. But I've really become a big fan of articulated figures over the last probably few years, starting with the Beasts of the Mesozoic line, and ever since then I've just been in love with articulated dinosaur figures. And when it comes to Jurassic Park style articulated figures, Artic Figures is definitely producing some of the best out there, and definitely, again, some of the most screen accurate, and that's exactly what you see here with this gorgeous looking Gallimimus. Of course, again, the fact that it comes unpainted is something that's pretty fun if you're like me and you like to paint your figures so that they can look exactly as you like them to look. So I was able to do that now with my Gallimimus here, and I'm really quite happy with the final product, which again, like I stated earlier, isn't something that I always am happy with. So I think a lot of that has to do with just how good the Artic Figures sculpt is, and the sculpt is phenomenal on this. There's just so much fine detail throughout, and just generally an overall really nice looking appearance to the Gallimimus. And of course, the fact that you have loads of articulation allows you to pose it and display it however you would like. The articulation is also incredibly smooth. It works perfectly, stays exactly where it's supposed to stay, and definitely is perfect for stop motion, things of that nature, and basically perfect for creating any pose you would like. And again, we have a Tyrannosaurus Rex coming from Artic Figures very soon, which I am extremely excited about. Actually, it has been releasing on the Etsy shop of Artic Figures. He has sold a few of the 1/18th scale and actually a few 1/12th scale, which I couldn't even begin to fathom how huge that is. But I can't wait to get that Rex in my hands sometime very soon so that I can display it with this Gallimimus, because the Gallimimus is a perfect companion piece for that T-Rex. But as a whole, again, this Gallimimus is just completely awesome. It's a gorgeous looking figure, a gorgeous looking base, really highly detailed base and really highly detailed figure. Both are tons of fun to paint, and both give you probably one of, if not the best, Jurassic Park Gallimimus that have been released ever. So if you are interested in picking this up, I will include a link in the description to the Artic Figures Etsy shop where he has been listing them for sale. I don't know if he has any up currently, but just keep checking back because he just kind of lists them from time to time when he has a few. So it doesn't hurt to continue to check back there. But also, if you follow Artic Figures on Instagram, that's the best way to know when he is going to be putting up more stock and stuff like that, because he always announces that on his Instagram account, and that'll help to give you the best possible chance of grabbing one of these when they do go up for sale. So make sure you, again, check out the Etsy shop as well as the Instagram account. I will include links to both in the description, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.